Do I sound good right now?
Yes, do I sound good right now?
You sound decent.
Uh-oh.
No, you're good.
Hold on, I'm gonna let my dog out. I don't want her barking. I'm gonna get out. Please stop screaming! I'm trying to record a podcast! Thank you!
Welcome to the Spooky Dooky Podcast, the only horror podcast for you social outcasts. Hosted by us, I'm Derek.
I'm Mike.
And we just seen 2019's Pet Sematary. I always had a hard time Googling this movie because I've been excited for this movie about a year now. Didn't realize Sematary was spelled incorrectly.
Yeah, I saw an article that said this movie fucked up a whole generation of kids how to spell cemetery,
Yeah.
and I think I was one of them for a while. How familiar with the first one are you?
I thought I was very familiar with it until I rewatched it recently and realized that I got it mixed up with Pet Sematary too.
Me too! I just said that to someone. And now that I went and rewatched Pet Sematary, I'm like, wow, I really hope this one succeeds so they'll make it two. Because I actually prefer to, even though it got bad ratings.
Who was it? Clancy Brown in it? The dude who voiced Mr. Krabs.
Well, which one was he?
He was the father.
The stepfather or the father?
The stepfather.
So the guy who was killing everybody.
Yeah.
Gus?
Yeah.
That's Mr. Krabs?
Yeah.
That's fucking lit. That character was awesome.
I hate to admit it, but I was part of the crowd that you didn't like. For us, when I went to go see this movie, I went to go see what the people I play Fortnite with, and we were the crowd that you hate.
Why? What is there to fucking scream at?
No, it was just so we were laughing at inappropriate moments. And
I mean, I guess, enjoy your experience the way it is, but I get pissed at that because, dude, you're taking attention out of the theater, but to each their own.
I mean, other people was laughing too.
At what?
Okay, it sounds fucked up, but the scene where Ellie dies. Well, actually,
it's a fucking remake. There's no spoilers.
First of all, the trailer spoiled all of it anyway,
yeah.
So
it also showed all the best parts. I realized.
Yeah, but
most of the good parts of that movie were in that trailer, which is very disappointing. But I guess they had to get people to go see it.
But yeah, the part where Ellie died.
I don't see the humor.
I don't know. It was just so funny.
She got hit by a goddamn truck. Where's the punchline?
Well, because the church. It's all church's fault.
Yeah, so
it felt like church was just sitting there staring at the truck coming, knowing that she was gonna get hit by the car.
In a sense, I feel like church lured her in.
It did. The truck driver, his phone, he got a text message, and in my head, or he got a phone call, and in my head, I was thinking, hey, it's probably church calling. I don't know. I thought it was funny, and I just busted out laughing.
You're weird. I think with this movie, I'm very against remakes. It's kind of half a remake, half a reimagining. And Pet Sematary 1 was pretty good. And I feel like for the first hour of this movie, I was like, this might be better than the original.
That's weird. So, because have you seen reviews of this movie?
No, not yet. I only saw one, I think.
They've been very mixed. It's like some people thought the first half of the movie was good and then it fell apart. And a lot of people thought the first half of the movie was boring and dull and it picks up at the end. And it's weird that everybody just has different reviews of the movie about the beginning part.
I mean, I agree with the first thing you said, that it was good for the first hour, and then I didn't like the wrap up. It seemed a little bit rushed.
Yeah, it did feel a little rushed.
I mean, how big of a Pet Sematary fan were you?
My first cat name was Church.
Because of that?
Yeah.
So, okay, you have, as much as I do like most Stephen King movies, and I consider myself a decent fan, we're going to go with you have the bigger say on this. Did it do it justice?
Yeah. I don't know if it did the novel justice, but it was a better remake, in my opinion.
People were pissed in a lot of senses because they went with the girl instead of the boy. How did you feel about that?
I was I don't know. I don't know if I was more pissed that they spoiled it in the trailers or pissed that it happened. But now that I watched the movie, I appreciate that they had Ellie be the one to die instead of Gage. Most
That
because
girl actress was
so good.
incredible, and
Yeah.
children
Where are they
actors
finding these
suck.
kid actors? I don't
I mean, this is a
understand.
high profile movie. They better get the casting right.
But yeah, I appreciate it more with Ellie because when I was her age, like my biggest fear was death, and like I always questioned death, and I feel like this movie brought back my fear of death. It just reminded me how I was at her age, just questioning everything, like what happens after you die and all this stuff. So, like after she died and she came back, and Lewis, the father, he was like, they were laying in bed together because she didn't want to sleep alone, and he was like, she was just asking all these questions. And Lewis was like, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter now. You're back." And Ellie had a smile on her face and was like, "But back from where?"
Hmm.
And that was like so disturbing to me.
Very
Just the
creepy child.
thought of not knowing what's happening, like what happens after death, and then she knows, and it's just so messed up. Just thinking about it, I don't know.
I love the small detail that they have with one of her eyes were kind of like closed after she came
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
that was all that was really wrong with her. But it was creepy, just that little slight thing off.
Oh, and the stitches
The
in the back of her
stitches,
head.
yes, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was messed up from the autopsy. What did you think about the scares in the movie?
I only one jump scare got me.
Which
Did any
one?
jump scares get you?
A couple.
This jump scare with Rachel the mom, how she's haunted by her sister who had some sort of like bone disease and she
Yeah,
watched her
Zelda.
die, and she had to feed her through a what is those things called where you kind of put food in it and like on a not a conveyor belt, but
Oh, that's like it's like an elevator thing, but it's small. Same. It was in Halloween. No, Resurrection or H2O. I don't know. I get those mixed
both of
up.
those movies are shit. That's why you get them mixed up. But that how she fell down the when she died, she fell down that. So then she had a vision of
Yeah, that got me. Yeah.
going she had a vision that her I guess bathroom mirror when she opened it
Yeah,
turned into that.
the medicine
Like
cabinet.
yeah, and she looks up and it didn't happen for like a couple seconds, then bam, got me.
Yeah.
That's the only one that got me. And I will say about this, in the original, the sister looks so much creepier. She looked like an actual dead person. This looked like a zombie. I was talking to a couple people about the trailers to this. If you look at the trailers where they showed the sister with kind of like twisting all weird in the bed, you kind of think this is a paranormal activity kind of movie. Not the
Right.
movie paranormal activity, I mean like the theme.
Right.
Uh
Um.
I don't know. So that was misleading.
Um.
They made the sister more present in this movie too.
It was funny because that scene you're talking about, it got all three of us who went to go see the movie,
Mhm.
and we all got very sick from the popcorn. And my friend, like when she jumped, like fell down into the bottom of the medicine cabinet, my friend, he was like, "Hey man, I don't know if it's this popcorn, but that almost made me shit myself." And like, and I think it was a popcorn because I almost shit myself too in that scene. But it could have just been the popcorn. I don't know. Even the every jump scare really got to me because of the popcorn. Honestly, even the
How does that make any sense? There's no alcohol in the popcorn.
it's the butter. It's the butter and the
But I'm saying
popcorn.
like you don't usually like react to jump scares. Now that you ate some rancid popcorn, you have some
Like you, because when you do get scared or like a slight jump, you feel it in your stomach,
yeah.
and so like I felt it in my stomach real bad, and even every foreshadowing thing about the truck, you hear the truck noises or whatever,
Yeah.
that kept getting me.
If they wouldn't have put that truck in the trailer, the first one, that would have got me. Because I almost forgot about it. So but like I I didn't enough, so it almost scared me again. It's very fast and very abrupt. But if that wasn't in the trailer, that scare would have been the best scare, I think. In the beginning of the movie, just with the speeding truck. How do you feel about there's not really any kills in this movie, especially for the over the first hour?
But there is kills.
Okay, but that takes until an hour in, and there's only 5 characters, and then eventually they all just die
I mean,
very, very quickly too.
you forgetting about the first death that happens like within 20 minutes of the movie.
The first death that happens with the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Most important death.
Are you talking about Church?
No, I'm talking about Victor Pascal, but I forgot about
Okay, yes. That was a really creepy scene. So there's a kid, the Lu- Lucas
Lewis.
Lewis. He is a doctor in the ER, and they move towns, and he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be more quiet up here now. Like, it's gonna be like they made a joke, like, oh, the first client's a bloody nose. Then
Right.
all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this kid gets wheeled in on a stretcher, and half his fucking face is missing. It was so creepy, and he tries to save him, and he dies. And what did the nurse say when she looked at him?
I could see his brain.
See, that bothered me.
Why?
I don't think it was needed. Like,
Well,
she got freaked out. Like,
yeah, they needed to show that that town is not used to seeing anything like that at
okay,
all.
fair enough. I didn't think of it that way. I was like, yo, you're in this profession. I was like, why are they showing this? It seemed unrealistic. But now I understand. But that character played a bigger role than I thought. He was
Yeah,
following the dad around, telling him the barrier can't be broken or something because
yeah,
their backyard, they bought property, and their backyard is the pet cemetery. But beyond the pet cemetery, which it's kind of weird how they call this pet cemetery, but is it a pet cemetery? The pet cemetery is in the front. Then you go over this like wood type deal, like sticks, and then go like they walked a long time to like a fucking temple or something.
right.
So that's it's not is that a pet cemetery too, or is it just like a haunted ground?
I think it's just some haunted ground
So
or
it's more like
sour ground.
it's. I love that quote. The ground is sour. So it's more like a misdirection.
Yeah, I like how when Ellie first stumbled upon the pet cemetery and she meets Judd for the first time,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "Yes, this is." She was like, "Where's this place?" And he was like, "It's the pet cemetery. You can't read because the sign on the front." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I saw the sign. They spelled cemetery wrong." I like that they brought that up,
John
so I
Lithgow
know
did a really good job as Judd.
he did a good job as Herschel.
So that's Herschel.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the main character. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
watch that fucking shit. But zombies are stupid. They showed a book with this like deer creature. I forgot what it's called.
the Wendigo.
So that is like, I guess the gatekeeper of that zone or something. So does
I
he
don't know.
decide who goes into the freaking bodies? Or the like? I don't get it.
I don't know how the Wendigo works because the Wendigo is in so many different movies and video games. I don't
They
even.
barely even referenced it. It was just passing.
Yeah,
They don't feel like it was needed. The best actor in this movie was Church the Cat.
it was four of them,
I didn't know that. So the best actors in this movie were Church the Cats.
and there was two gauges.
Oh, I did see they credited that twice. Why is that?
It's twins. You know how they do with kids.
Oh, okay. I noticed when Ellie cut Judd's foot, I was thinking in my head, I was like, yeah, he cringed. Derek cringed. That's
Oh
the
my
Christian like,
god, dude! I was squirming in my seat the whole time because I knew in the original he got his Achilles heel slit.
yeah.
So when he walked into the bedroom and they showed his like they did the camera angle, having the camera being underneath the bed, and they show his ankle, I'm like squirming in my seat, freaking out because I can't handle it. And he ends up kicking the bed, thinking Ellie was underneath it, and she wasn't. I was like, "Whoo, that was a really good misdirect right there." I thought he was gonna get his heels cut, and then
Mm.
he goes down the stairs and she fucking slices his Achilles heel, and it was brutal. Oh my god, so terrible. I hate those type of kills. I hate it. I don't know why that's such a big fear of mine.
I saw a lot of reviews that they said there was comedy in this movie. I didn't see any. What when the wife says, "Oh, good thing you're not a fucking veterinarian." That's the one
That
thing.
was really funny to me.
But it was supposed to be.
Oh,
Did you
no
notice
reason.
when
The SpongeBob episode.
well, yes, but in the credits they did credit SpongeBob. He is the star. When they said Church got through her window after going missing, and it knocked over a letter and
Yeah,
Ellie's name and
lie.
it said lie.
I noticed that.
because the scene before that about telling the truth between telling their daughter the truth about death,
Right. Yeah.
great imagery. And then also, did you notice the dairy sign?
No, I
When the
missed it.
mom is driving home and she's in traffic, the first thing you see like on the right hand side is dairy for Derry, Indiana, which is in Stephen King's universe of It.
Yep. And for those who don't know, Stephen King, all of his novels are like the MCU before the MCU was a
Yep,
thing.
all one universe. Great,
Yep. And they
genius.
all tie in with the oh shit, the Dark Towers. Is that what
Mm,
it's called?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
I think this movie is okay, but it left me wanting a lot more. So I'm very indifferent of how to even rate this movie because it's not a bad movie by any sense, and it's not that bad of a remake or reimagining, but I don't know. I wasn't crazy enough like to really like I don't know if I give this a spooky
Mm.
because it's it's entertaining, the acting is good, but I don't know how I feel about the rushed ending and the new plot. Even though Ellie did great and it was different, I just don't know if enough happened in the movie. Other Pet Cemetery was a lot better, which is I'm not even doing that as like a fan of this like who hates remakes and wants to stick to the original. Usually I could subconsciously do that, but objectively, I just don't feel like it gave enough. I'm just hoping, like I said before, it gets enough in the box office, which is getting mixed reviews, which is scaring me, that you can make a Pet Cemetery too, because that would be good in modern day. That has way better kills and a way
Uh,
creepier character in Gus,
I
I
hope
think.
they don't make a Pet Cemetery 2. There's no point.
Why?
I mean, there was no Pet Cemetery 2 novel.
I guess.
I
So
don't know.
they made a Pet Cemetery 2 without a novel. So why can't they make a Pet Cemetery 2 remake novel? I mean,
'Cause
without a novel.
I don't want to see a Pet Cemetery 2.
But you enjoyed that one more, right?
Yeah,
And
I
you
mean, I guess.
think about it. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
I
talk about
did.
Pet Cemetery 2, even though it's a Pet Cemetery remake review. In that movie, the kills in that by Gus when he finds the kid bullying the other kid with the bike, the kid's like, "You ever see a nose get clipped off? Me neither." And then Gus saves him and says, "Go home" to the kid, and he's like, and then the kid was riding a motorbike, and he's like, "Come on, Gus, I'm just fucking with him." And he's like, "I'm just fucking with you," and starts putting the motorbike in his face with the spinning tire, and his scarf gets caught and chops off his head. That's a great kill. And what about the
But
potato truck kill when Gus is chasing the mom and the fat kid who watched him kill that bully, and he tricks them into swerving into a potato truck? That's a lot more action than this movie had.
but it's I don't think I've ever seen a sequel be remade. Like usually they remake the
Did they do Halloween?
yeah, they did it right. So the sequel to Halloween, the reboot, wasn't a remake to the sequel of the original Halloween. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like Pet Cemetery, if they do make a second one, they will. I don't think they will remake the second Pet Cemetery. They'll just go off in a completely different direction.
Yeah, then I don't want it. I don't know why that movie got such weird low scores. I don't get it. I
Which
prefer
one?
that
Oh, two.
second Pet Cemetery. I think a lot more was going on in that movie. I think the first one is creepier, but this one, I don't know.
You want to know what's crazy about this review we're doing right now?
What?
We went the whole time without spoiling the movie.
Well, we said Ellie's dead, but it is
Well,
in the trailer.
it's in the trailer. We didn't even go. We didn't talk about. We didn't say what happens at the very end.
Wow, we're such good
Yeah, I know.
horror reviewers, you know? Are we supposed to now?
I mean, you want to get into it?
Well,
You didn't like it.
I didn't like the ending. Did you like the ending?
I liked it.
Now, why did you like it? I'm gonna say
All
why.
right.
I'm gonna say back why I don't.
Okay. So spoilers.
Spoilers for a remake.
Well, this doesn't happen in the original.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just weird. Like, a movie technically with the same name came out like 30 years ago or something. It's funny just saying like spoilers, even though it's a little different. It's still been out there, and the book it exists too. It's not the same, but you could use your imagination. Go ahead.
So yeah, spoilers. Everybody dies. Everybody dies. Except maybe Gage. Who
No,
knows?
they insinuate that. I think that also pissed me off. As much as I don't want to see a kid dying, and I think that would really turn off a lot of viewers. Maybe it would have been a little different. They just leave it open ending with the dad, the mom, and Ellie surrounding the car, which the dad left him in and said, "Don't open the car for anybody." And then the dad kind of goes up close to the window, and his eyes are kind of weird. And then it just
Yeah.
ends. Oh, and Church is on the car too. It was cool. It was cool, but I kind of again, it's leaving you to want more. I don't know. And it was rushed how they all died, especially the dad. Dad wasn't even a fighter.
Man, man, that fight scene with Ellie and Lewis. You didn't like that?
It's okay.
It was hilarious.
I mean,
She had him in a rear naked chokehold with a knife. That was crazy.
he
I
should
ain't
have put
never
her in
seen,
a Boston crab.
bruh. That whole entire fight scene was ridiculous, and you if they would have had Gage be the one who died and come back, you wouldn't get that type of fight. You saw how the fight scene was in the original Pet Cemetery. It was stupid.
Yeah. A lot of
And
things with the original Pet Cemetery, what this one got right, there's a lot of really bad cinematography in that first one. And a lot of awkward cuts and awkward dialogue. It was like if you watch that back, you cringe a little. So as everyone's gonna say, like the first one's better. This one at least didn't have any cringe moments. It just left me wanting a lot more.
I think the biggest cringe moment from the original one was when the father killed Gage, and he killed him by I think he gave him that shot, right? Like he injected him with something,
Can't remember.
and then Gage, he's like falling back behind. He was like, "No fair, no fair," and then he just falls and lays down on the ground. It was really stupid.
Also, in the old one, as much as the sister is creepier in the old one because it's just more of like a practical effect looking dead person, which I think she's supposed to be a sickly person.
Mm.
They use that weird cheap voiceover effect to make her voice deep. I hate that. I know it's not their fault. It's 1989, but man, it's weird. I just think Zelda in both movies are kind of not
Pointless.
necessary.
Yeah.
And especially because they expanded on it in this movie, which led to nothing. But it did give a good
Right.
jump
Yeah.
scare to me. I don't get it. Maybe if Zelda was in more visions or something.
I no. I don't know. But it did lead to a good scare where uh what's her name? Rachel has the hallucination or whatever
Yeah,
after she realized Ellie's back from the dead,
yeah.
and she's the one in the bed sick.
Oh, when she
Yeah,
popped up with a knife like Chucky,
yeah. Oh my god,
that half got me too. That was cool. That was a cool scare.
that was so funny. That was a brutal scene. Like
Yeah, right in
Ellie
front of the
was
kid too.
going for the
Gage, say
kill.
something. Your mom's fucking gonna get stabbed by your sister. Oh, I did like when Ellie came back and
Yeah,
the
like
kid's like elephant.
yeah, that was so cute.
Yeah, no, that kid is really cute.
But Ellie, man, she was brutal. Like she was just going for it. Like I rarely see a slasher film where like the killer just like die, die, die. Like
Yeah.
she, she stabbed her mother.
And like, I don't think that, as far as I know, didn't use any voice effect on her. She sounded kind of menacing for a child, like she had a demon inside of her. It didn't seem like they put any effects on it. So, yo, this girl really killed it. And it was pretty cool when she was next to Rachel, the mom, at the window, and she already has her stabbed, and she's like, "You're not my daughter," and she's like, "Then be with her."
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
that was
man,
messed up.
yeah, and it was convincing. That
Yeah.
actress, that girl, put her in more movies. I know Hollywood loves doing haunted children's movies because they're probably pedophilia. They're pedophiles. I was trying to. I
I
look
wonder
stupid.
what they did to the actor Gage to make because you remember okay, so after Ellie dies, the mother couldn't stay in the house anymore. Rachel couldn't stay in the house anymore. So she take Gage and they go to Rachel's parents' house.
Yeah,
And then Gage is in a room by himself and he's yelling Pascal over and over again.
yeah,
And it's Victor Pascal in the corner telling Gage to go back home or whatever. And you see Rachel holding Gage. Rachel doesn't see Pascal the whole
yeah. Why
time,
does
but
Gage only see him? That's weird.
some about it's always in horror movies that kids and
Dead
animals can
people.
sense
Yeah,
yeah, people. But I wonder what they made or what they did to the actual actor for Gage to make him like look terrified because he looked absolutely
I
terrified.
mean, think about it. If you're 4 years old and you see a guy with a half face, it's
Oh
pretty
yeah, they
scary.
probably had him in full makeup right there. Then
I
yeah,
think so.
okay,
That's yeah. And
yeah,
I thought it
that
was
yeah.
also a pretty good scene when Church the cat was in the crib with Gage.
When I was a baby, we had a cat named Elle, and the cat always slept in the crib with me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, what was Church's end game being in that crib anyway? I thought he was gonna fuck him up.
yeah, I thought so too.
Like, as much as I don't want it to happen, I'm kind of like, well, that would be an interesting scene.
I just don't understand why they spoiled in the trailer that Ellie's gonna die. If in the movie they set up making it seem like Gage was gonna be the one that dies, because you see Gage walks to the street,
Yo, it could have been even better. There could have been two dead children.
double kill,
They.
collateral.
I like how Gage when he sees Ellie in the street with Church, he's like Church, like that's who he cares about. He sees the truck coming, and he's like, well, gotta save my cat. I wonder how well that. I mean, there's 4 cats, but that is a very cooperative cat.
Yeah,
They always say don't work with animals or kids. They did both, and both of them were great.
right, right.
So I guess let's just get into ratings.
Okay,
Nerds, spooky or dooky?
okay. So, while while watching this movie, I like towards the middle, reaching towards the climax of the film, I was thinking I'm not gonna give this movie a spooky because I don't see myself ever watching this movie again.
Oh, I'm definitely not watching this again.
Yeah. But after actually seeing the ending of it and how like everybody dies, which is how it happens in the original too, but I don't know. The fight scene was just so good. And for that scene alone, I'm just giving it spooky. Um,
Wow.
it's 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 not a bad movie, of course,
Yeah.
and it's not like a fantastic, great movie. But from a horror movie standpoint, it got me scared. It got me thinking. I was paranoid coming home. I don't know. I mean, maybe I was scared that I was gonna
Get
shit
hit
the
by a
bed.
truck.
No, shit the
Oh shit.
bed from the popcorn. But but I don't know. It played on a really early childhood fear of mine of death and not knowing what's gonna happen after death, and
Mm.
it just got me thinking about that all over again. And I mean, it was a good movie. It kind of, I'm gonna say, if you enjoy watching the Poltergeist remake, you're gonna enjoy watching this
I don't
movie.
even think I saw the Poltergeist remake. It looked just so bad in the trailers.
It wasn't that bad. It was very like this one. Okay, it was
Oh wow.
okay. Yeah.
It's hard because again, I'll always say with only 2 ratings, it's hard to when you have a middle of the road thing. It's you don't really know where to put it, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like most of these people, I'm reading the reviews that I see. 6.5 on IMDb, 61% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's exactly how I feel. It's like a 6, but I don't think a 6 is a spooky in my book. It's getting a dookie for me, which I'm very disappointed to say because I was really looking forward to this movie. Uh, I don't know. Left me wanting a lot more. Uh, it was entertaining. It's a decent movie. Go to see it if you just there's nothing else to watch right now. Until like 2 more weeks until what's that movie comes out? The Curse of
La
which you're
Llorona.
probably gonna review.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to wait till that and you need a horror fix, sure, it's watchable. The first hour is pretty good, but just I don't know. I just felt after the movie was done, I just was sitting there in the theater. I wasn't mad. I wasn't happy. I wasn't anything. I was just sitting there like so indifferent. Like it
Same,
took me.
yeah.
It took me until this morning to figure out what I was going to give it because I was like, I feel rude giving it a dookie, but I'm not giving it a spooky because that's like diminishing. Like we give out so many spookies because I feel like we're doing horror wrong at like reviewing it. We're like too nice, I guess. But this definitely needs to get a dookie because compared to whatever else I'm used to watching, it doesn't really hold up. And especially if you're talking about going towards the first one, comparing it. Definitely not. If you like the first Pet Sematary, I don't think you're going to like this one. So, I don't know. Didn't do it for me. Maybe there'll be a Pet Sematary too.
I hope not. Yeah, if you're like thinking about seeing this movie, I guess go see it. If you feel like you're missing something, like if you're missing out not seeing this movie, you're not really missing anything.
Nah, you
Yeah,
could wait for it to go to Redbox or Netflix and be pretty okay. It's not going to be a phenomenon like most Stephen King movies. Stephen King, you can't always do his novels justice. He got pretty lucky with it. Remakes never usually go over that big. So
but
between that and Halloween, I think people have a lot of expectation now towards remakes. So I don't know. I'm very skeptical about if being liking the first one, sticking to the source material. This didn't really stick to the source material, which I didn't really care about, but whatever. It doesn't do it for me. It's a Dookie.
all right, so guess that's the end of the Spooky Dookie podcast review of Pet Cemetery. Once again, I'm Derek.
Mike, keep it spooky.
Stay Dookie.
My dog was attacking me towards the end of that.
I heard it.
Ah, damn, that sucks.